Hi everyone. Today I wanted to share about the side effects I experienced with phase B or part B of my treatment plan. If you watched the other video in terms of what part B was or what phase B of the treatment plan in terms of the medications were, then you'd know that I am taking a different cocktail of medications than the first time around with the first 12 weeks. Sorry, that's Matea waving at me. So with this one, I am taking adriamycin, which a lot of people refer to that as the Red Devil. I don't like that name, so I refer to it as the Blood of Jesus or the Red Sea. And then I'm taking the Cytoxin and then still the Keytruda. The Keytruda I've been on the whole time and I'm still on that, and then I will continue to have that from my understanding for a couple more months post-surgery as well. And so this particular phase of medications did have more side effects than the first part. However, I will say they were still mild in comparison. And I say that because it didn't get me to where I still wasn't able to do anything. Like I still wasn't down and out, stuck in the bed or throwing up all day. So in my opinion, it's still a win and it's still mild. However, there were more side effects. So the main ones that I want to touch on first is bladder infection. I got that almost immediately as soon as cycle 1 started of this next phase. And so I don't know if it was because I didn't clear the medicine out my system fast enough, but I do know within a couple days, so treatment was on Tuesday, by the weekend, by Saturday, I noticed that I had blood in my urine. How did I know that? Because, you know, as I'm going, it was clear at that point. I was able to clear the adriamycin out my system. So to kind of chime in a little bit about that, adriamycin is red, and so it will cause your urine to be red as well. And so initially, so the day I got it and for the first couple of days, like I was automatically peeing, you know, it was looking pink and red or whatever. And then by Friday, my urine looked like it was clear again, like it was normal. And so I felt like I had got it out of my system pretty well. But then by Saturday, as I was going to the bathroom, it would start off the urine would start off clear. But then by the end of it, I noticed that it had some pinkness to it. And then when I would wipe, I'd see it on the tissue. And then I was having some discomfort with it as well. And so, you know, I called the nurse practitioner that day to let her know. And because I was almost kind of like scared and about to freak out. And so she kind of made it like, okay, well, it's probably still the adriamycin because you're on that. And I said, well, no, I don't think it's that because my urine was clear and then now it's pink again. And it's only pink at the end of the stream, not the whole stream. And so, you know, I didn't want to like keep pushing like, hey lady, I'm a nurse, I know what I'm talking about, but just really try to be a patient and just let her know what it was that I was experiencing and what I wasn't experiencing. And so what she wanted me to do was to watch the next 2 voids, and then if it continued, to then call them back. And so I did, but by this time, I don't know, I think I'm drinking more water or whatever the case may be. And so the next 2 times I had gone, I didn't notice the pinkness or the redness at the end of the stream, but it was still kind of uncomfortable. And so that day went on. By the next day, by Sunday, I felt like I had more urgency that I needed, you know, to go to the bathroom. I felt more uncomfortable when I go to the bathroom. I felt a whole lot more pressure, and I just felt crappy overall. Just didn't feel good. And so I remember calling back again as soon as I got home, because I went out to like brunch with my friend and her sister, and although the food was good, it was just, I still felt like crappy. We went and looked at furniture or window shop for furniture and everything, and I enjoyed that time out, but I still felt kind of crappy. And so when I got home, I called immediately and, you know, told her what I was experiencing. And at that point, when I would go to the bathroom, I felt a whole lot more pain. And I noticed cloudiness in my urine. So I'm like, look, there's definitely an infection going on, whether it's bladder or urinary tract. It doesn't even matter at this point, but I definitely have an infection going on. And so she agreed based off of what I told her, and told me to go ahead and start taking the Levaquin, I think is the medication. It's an antibiotic that they gave me to get filled from like day one when I had the teaching, chemotherapy teaching session with the nurse practitioner. They gave me a few prescriptions to get filled and have at home, and an antibiotic was one of those things. And so the instructions were like, if you have a fever, a temperature greater than blah, 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 then you need to start taking this medication. And so didn't have the temperature, thankfully, didn't have anything going on with that yet, but it was enough that was going on that she agreed that it was time to go ahead and start taking it. So I took that, and within the first 24 hours, I started feeling better. So, it was confirmation that was going on. The next thing that I noticed in terms of side effect this time around was nausea. I had nausea almost immediately, guys. Like, first time, I wasn't dealing with that at all. Like, I don't even remember if I took nausea medicine. It may have was once, and I took a Zofran just because I was like, oh, I don't know, I might get sick. Let me make sure. But I don't even remember at this point. But with this next phase, like day one, like come home within hours of having the Aloxi and the Amin, because I'm still getting that in my IV as my pre-medications. And within hours, I feel nauseous, like almost immediately. And I compare it to, I don't know, like I just felt queasy, extremely queasy. I didn't throw up. I've never thrown up, but I felt extremely queasy, and I compare it to being pregnant. Like, the first trimester of my pregnancy was when I usually always felt nauseous and sometimes threw up during those pregnancies. Like I said, I didn't throw up, but I felt like how I felt when I would be pregnant. And you feel queasy and you just feel crappy. I will say, like, I did notice when I would eat, I would feel a little bit better, but just overall, I just felt queasy. I totally screwed up the first time around and started taking the Zofran instead of the Compazine. Just got confused in terms of which one I was supposed to take. And so I started taking the Zofran, but would still feel queasy. And so by the time I got the next cycle, I remember them asking me, about side effects. And so I told them that I felt nauseous, I felt queasy, and what I had taken. And that's when my nurse was like, no, don't take the Zofran. Like the Aloxi, the Amin, which you're getting your IV, remember that one is like the same medicine as the Zofran. And so don't take that one. You don't want more of that. And that's supposed to stay in my system for like at least 2 days after chemo. And so I'm supposed to take the Compazine for breakthrough nausea, not the Zofran. And so second time around was much, much better, because now I'm taking the Compazine. And she said that she had heard that was more effective in treating the nausea than the Zofran anyway. And sure enough, when I got home, second cycle, got home, started taking that and felt better, like almost immediately. Now, it didn't go away completely, but the medicine, the Compazine on top of everything else, did help. And I'd say, like, I noticed that it wasn't the same amount of time with each cycle that I felt nauseous, or the level of nausea that I would feel. Like the first time around, I only felt like that for maybe 3 days. By the second cycle, it lasted longer. Like I felt like crap for, I don't know, maybe 7 days. By cycle 3, I'd say it was probably about the same, because I remember at that point I'd be like, okay, well by day eight and day 9, I'd feel more like myself again, where I didn't notice that I was feeling crappy. I didn't take the nausea medicine the whole time, like for 8 or 9 days, but I did take it at least once a day for like the first 3 days, and then just like, maybe once every other day up until like, day 7, to where I felt like, okay, I didn't need anything at all, and my stomach felt pretty leveled out. But overall, I'd say I wouldn't feel like my stomach was settled until probably day 9. It just wasn't as bad as, the day before. Each day got better overall. And so with that being said, I still was like, okay, it's not that bad. By cycle 4, I felt nauseous that day that I came home, like all the other times. And then maybe a little bit the next day. by Friday, because again, all my treatments were on Tuesdays. So by Friday, fourth go round, I felt good. And I mean, I did things different with that fourth cycle in terms of the level of prayer and fasting and just the amount of people that I had fasting with me, which I'll share that in a whole nother video. So I'm sure that had a lot to do with how my body responded to that one, but I felt a whole lot better. And I wasn't queasy and crappy not nearly as long as before. So the fourth cycle was the easiest cycle with phase B of treatment, by far the easiest cycle. And I just remember thinking, as the weeks passed, and I do one cycle and I'd be like, okay, 3 more to go, and I do that second cycle and I'm like, okay, 2 more to go. And so I just kept counting down, and then by the fourth cycle I was like, okay, this is your last one. Like, I know I'm gonna feel like crap for X amount of days, but this is the last one. Like, you can do this. You've done the other 3. You can do this one. And so to just kind of go in and not experience as much as I experienced the previous cycles was amazing. And so I'm so grateful, thank God, that I was able to get through that fourth cycle and feel like how I felt. And everybody noticed it, especially my husband. He was like, you don't seem like you feel bad. And I didn't. So glory to God. Another side effect that I'll mention is the sore throat. I experienced sore throat probably for the first 2 weeks after my treatment. And it wasn't like a cough. I mean, it wasn't like a cold sore throat. It was mainly just like I could feel that my throat was irritated if I ate something that was too acidic or too spicy, things like that. That's like when I swallowed, if I ate like salsa, because my kids like to do Taco Tuesday. So Taco Tuesday, if I had salsa or any type of spices, I would notice that, it was irritated when I would, basically eat my food or whatever. And it was only when I would eat spicy things or, like I say, something extremely acidic. So it wasn't anything that bothered me just on a regular. It's only when I would eat those things. So wasn't anything super annoying or anything like that. Definitely tolerable. Just avoid spicy foods for, about 2 weeks. And then I could go back to eating what it was that I normally would eat without any soreness or irritation or anything like that. So another like major side effect that something that I noticed like a lot is sore feet. Y'all, my feet are extremely sore. Like, every time I step on them, like, it feels like I have worked a 12-hour shift. Because, if you've been watching, then I'm a registered nurse as well. And so, like, I remember what it would be like to work those 12s, and especially days when I was like going on my feet all day. Like, I would get home and my feet hurt so bad. That's how my feet feel now. And the only thing is I haven't worked. Like it's like that first thing in the morning. Like, when I wake up and get out the bed, like, my feet are killing me. And so, I mean, I can get through it. It's not keeping me, I'm not immobilized or anything like that. Like, I can move. It's just like, it takes a minute to wake up my feet. And when I sit down and get back up, I got to wake them up again. And so it's just something that I notice all day because, it's my feet. I'm on my feet. I'm up and moving. I got Matea to run behind. So I notice it a lot. And so I don't know if it will get better. I know that we are 3 weeks post the last cycle at this point, and they're still super sore. So I don't know when they'll get better. I do believe that they'll get better. But I've tried soaking them. I rub them a lot. It feels amazing when they're soaked and rubbed, but they just hurt. They hurt so bad. They are extremely uncomfortable. My feet are really, really sore. The other side effect that I want to mention, again, going back to the feet, outside of the soreness, is just dry feet. My feet, like, the dryness of my feet looks like similar to, I would say, like a diabetic person's like dryness, if anyone is familiar with that. Like it's like, I feel like my skin is drier overall, but like my feet is nearly embarrassing. I don't even want to hold my feet up right now because it's that bad. It's really that bad. Because it's so bad that even when I take my socks off, like you can see like the dry skin just, it's bad. It's bad. I don't know why my feet have it so bad. I feel like my hands are dry too, but nothing compares to my feet. My feet are awful. Other side effects, and I have my book to kind of help me because I wrote things down this whole time as I was going through this phase, so that I wouldn't forget anything. Blurred vision. I noticed that my vision was a whole lot more blurry. Yes, I wear corrective lenses. I also wear contacts occasionally. When I take them off, my vision is blurry. I can't see far away. That's normal. However, with the treatments, I noticed that like they're even more blurry, closer. And so like there are times when I feel like I can't read anything if it's not like right here. And so that's different. It's not every day. It doesn't stay all day. It's just kind of something that comes and goes. Knee pain. My knees are sore. They're not as sore as my feet. My feet are extremely, like way more achy than my knees. My knees, I notice it a little bit when I stand up, like if I'm, sitting down and I stand up, or if I try to like squat and then get back up, like I feel a lot more strain in my knees, whereas I didn't before treatment. I'm cold a lot when I'm not having a hot flash. I'm cold a lot. And so that's, you go from extremely cold or extremely hot all day. The hot flashes I've had, if you've watched a previous video with the side effects from phase A or, part A, then you know that I was already having side effects I was already having hot flashes as a side effect of the first cocktail of chemotherapy medication. So even with this, I'm still having the hot flashes. Sorry. So hot flashes are still a big thing for me. So I still have them every hour on the hour. Sometimes I have them multiple times an hour. I have them at night. The night sweats are horrible because you have to get up in the middle of the night, take everything off and change because you're soaking wet, and then you're cold and uncomfortable and just clammy and just feel disgusting. So that's one that's super annoying as well. That's been an ongoing thing. Sinus, soreness. So one of the medications is called Cytoxin. I remember one of the nurses telling me when I first got it on cycle 1 of the second phase that it could cause like sinus pressure, and sure enough, it did. Like I remember that medication was supposed to originally be infused over 30 minutes. But the first time I got it, I remember like at first when she said it, I was like, oh, I'm fine. I don't feel anything. But then as I was getting it, I started feeling like, oh gosh, like a little sinus headache coming on. And I'm like doing like this, and I'm like over here doing this. And before I know it, my nose is running. And then next thing I know, it feels like I just jumped in a pool and just took in a bunch of water up my nose. Super uncomfortable feeling. And super weird because you're sitting in an infusion chair. It's, everything's dry, but you feel like you're, underwater, like you just took in water. And so like I said, initially it was supposed to be over 30 minutes. We changed it to where it would be infused over an hour. It did help a little bit. However, it didn't take it away completely. I still would feel it for cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4. I still felt that same uncomfortable, sinus pressure, and burning and all of that. So yeah. And it lasts probably a good hour and a half post treatment, because that would be my last infusion of the day. And so I'd leave out of there, and by the time I get home, I would be feeling better. I wouldn't notice it anymore. So it was literally just during infusion, but still an annoying, I call that more so an annoying side effect, because it was so short-lived, but something that I definitely noticed. And so let's see, changes in my taste buds. Things don't taste the same as they did before. did not notice that with the first round of, or first phase of treatment. This is definitely new and more specific to these medications. Things that taste different just taste different, and then there's some things that just taste really good. And so obviously I've put on some weight throughout this process. I've put on a lot of weight actually. And so the things that taste really good, I really enjoy it. And so I don't know if it's because the food tastes really good or if it's the steroids, but I know I put on some weight. And so, you know, we can mark that as a side effect as well, the weight gain. Another side effect that it's an ongoing side effect. I had it with the first phase of treatment. So I don't know if I should say another side effect, but I mean, hey, I still got it under the same category because they're still there. So the nail discoloration, so that's still in place. I don't know when my nails will go back to normal and how long that will be, but it's still there. Also, my hands and the sole of my feet, they all look the same. They, you know, just a darker color. It's not the color that they were before I started treatment. My tongue. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's some little dark black blotches on my tongue as well. That was not there with the first phase of treatment. The tongue stuff is specific to this phase. So there's some things that kind of rolled over, and then a lot of things that are new. Again, new things would be that bladder infection, that the blurred vision, the sore feet, the tongue discoloration, the knee soreness, the change in my taste buds, the nausea, and that sinus burning sensation when I got that medication. Those are all specific to this phase of treatment. Nails, hands and feet, hair loss, as we can see. My head, you know, although I have some fuzzes, got some little fuzzes coming in, but even with this next phase, I noticed that as it was growing in, it was falling back out. And so, you know, cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, like I'm like, oh, I see little fuzzies growing on my head, but then I wash my hair and it shed and fall out again. It's, like I said, been 3 weeks since the last treatment. So treatment was August 30th. Today is now September 22nd. So with that being said, it's been 3 weeks, and so I have not received another infusion, and so these little fuzzes are hanging on. But yeah, definitely experienced hair loss with this phase as well. Still don't have any hair in underarm area, private areas, places that I don't care to have hair anyway. But my hair here, I'm excited that it's growing back. My edges aren't growing as fast as this part is, but it's coming back, and so, you know, I'm excited about it. But yeah, hair loss was definitely another side effect as well. All right, so I think that will cover everything. I don't think it's anything that I've missed. Definitely, you know, definitely mild symptoms, nothing to complain about. So, you know, I consider these mild side effects. Again, I'm not stuck throwing up all day. I'm not, you know, stuck in the bed all day. Although my feet hurt when they touch the ground, I'm still, you know, extremely blessed to be able to have my feet touch the ground every day, and I can get up and still care for my kids and and you know, my children, my husband, and all of that. I will say those days when, you know, I felt really queasy, the nausea was, like, you know, challenging to get through. I did have help. I'd have someone come over for a couple hours and just kind of help me through the day with Matea. That way I could just kind of lay down and not have to be up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And so that helped a lot on those days. But other than that, I still, you know, took my kids to school, still picked them up from school. I still did whatever it is that I could do. And so my advice is, I know that everybody's experience is not going to be like mine. Everybody's not going to have mild side effects. But for those of you who do, The days when you feel really, really good, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Like I said, it would take me about 9 days before I feel like myself again. But by that second week, because now, you know, I was getting a break in between. I wasn't going every week getting infusions like it was with phase A. And so with phase B, I'm going every 3 weeks. And so the second week, my God, I feel amazing. I feel like as good as I felt before cancer, before treatment. And so those days I focused on having fun with my kids, taking vacations with my family, doing whatever it is that I could do, trying to live my life like how I lived it before cancer, before treatment. And so that would be my advice to anyone, you know, going through this that can feel how I felt going through this. If your symptoms are mild and you feel like you're still able to go and push forward and you're not straining to do so, because remember to listen to your body. If your body is telling you you need to rest or you don't feel well, listen to your body. But if your body is telling you, girl, you got this, get up, you can do this, then do it and have fun and enjoy it. Live life and feel fulfilled in doing so. And so that's what I did. Every opportunity I had when I felt good, I was out and about and I was enjoying my life and I was creating new memories, my children, and just enjoying our time together. And so, like I said, if I have any advice, that would be my advice. In terms of how to get through symptoms or what symptoms you're going to have, I have no idea. None of us do. You just kind of have to go through it and pray through it. I prayed. And the last time I fasted and prayed and did a whole lot of enlisted a whole lot of people to pray and fast with me. And so I would say that's probably why I didn't feel bad that fourth time. But regardless, push forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, push forward and enjoy your life. And don't let this thing get you so low in a slump that you don't notice the little key moments when things are good, when God is showing you his grace and showing you that he's walking with you, when you thought it was going to be what that person went through and you realize yours is different. That's God speaking to you. And so take those moments for what they are and enjoy it, and thank God and enjoy your life. All right, guys, that's all I got. Sorry to go on that rampant, but that's all I have. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Like, comment, share if you feel led, and hit the subscription button to continue to follow on this journey with me. Okay? All right. Have a great one. So this is what I'm talking about with the dryness on my feet. Like, I put on Aquaphor, Vaseline, any of those like deep moisturizing type things. I use those and it will still look like this in no time. Like I put nothing on it. It's peeling. Yeah, it's just, they're bad, y'all. I'm going tomorrow to get a pedicure. Well, this is, you can see the nail discoloration real good in this video as well, if you couldn't see it before. But that aside, but yeah, it peels. It's just bad. It's just bad. So yeah, this is what my feet look like. This is the other foot. Looks just as bad. Look. Again, very dry, very flaky, peeling. I do the foot soak and just use like that little tool to kind of get the dry, dead skin off as often as possible, which in my case, which is at least probably once a week, but they still look like this. Yeah. So I said, it's embarrassing. I keep socks on. That's how I keep like from picking it and just being aware of how bad it is. But this is what it looks like, courtesy of chemotherapy. Okay, put my socks back on. I also have like these little, trying to zoom in so you can see what I mean. Those little, look like little pimples or blisters.
So I have these on my hands and on my feet. You can see the dryness in my hand too, as well as like these little blotches and stuff. But these little blister things, they just kind of peel. They like crust over and peel. And then just kind of go away on their own, I guess. They don't itch or bother me, but they have popped up in different areas, and like I said, it just kind of crust over and just kind of go away on their own. So yeah, courtesy chemotherapy hands. Side effects.